Welcome back, guys. Today we are back out in the shop. Last time we were out here, we cut all that nastiness off of this fender and replaced it. I've still got to do something with the front, but what I think I'm going to do, because they don't make a patch for that, for the front there, I think I'm going to pull this fender off of this car, because the front is still decent on it. It's pretty solid. It's a little bent up, but still pretty solid. We still got the same problem here that we had on that fender, but what I think I'm gonna do is get this one off, put it on the table, and try to make a pattern off of this fender to make my own patch for that fender. I don't know if this will work or not. It's like everything else. I'm just grasping at straws as usual, but I think that will be the easiest course. You know, try to make a pattern off of a decent fender instead of trying to duplicate it on a fender where half of it's already rotted away. As you can see, it's pretty bad right there. This side over here is still pretty good. Still has the bracket that bolts to the core support and all that. So this front edge is still pretty good. So I think I'm just going to try to, you know, I'll have to make the lip there, but I want to come probably about right through there maybe. I don't know. But anyway, let me see if I can get this fender off real quick and get it kind of cleaned up and make sure it's not messed up, and try to get a pattern made. I hopefully have a big enough piece of metal left to do this. I've cut up so much of my metal that I've just got a bunch of little pieces now, so hopefully I can dig around and find one big enough to make this. Wasn't too bad. It was only held on with one bolt, so looks like this bottom edge is a little kind of messed up, but I still think it's good enough we can maybe get a pattern off of it. So I need to get this piece of trim here off. It kind of looks like it may have a dent right there, maybe. I don't know. Let me kind of get it cleaned up and get this trim off of it and see how bad it is. Alright, so I did not have a big enough piece of metal, so I cut a little section off of that quarter panel that we had left over from this for when we did all that. I cut a little bit up there to work on that spot up there, so I cut just a little front section off there, so hopefully it'll work. It has some of the similar shape to it, but it's off, like where it's gonna be hard to see on camera, but it kind of dishes in right there, and the dish on here is real low down there, so to line the dish up in it, we're not going to have enough room down here on the bottom. So what I think I'm going to do is make my pattern and cut it out of this, and then we'll just have to shape it ourselves maybe. I think I'm going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm just going to use masking tape. Go about like that, maybe. Come on. we can kind of draw on the masking tape, hopefully what we need, and then peel it off and lay it on to the new piece to mark where we want to cut. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to give it a shot. Probably sticking it a little too good, but it is what it is, I guess. So let me get a magic marker or something to mark this with. Just trying to mark it right along the edge, and then we can trim it to fit when we get it up, you know, on the, get ready to put it on the new piece. This ain't working. Stuck it too good. Son of a... The guys that do this stuff for a living make this stuff look so easy, but it is not, or I'm just stupid. So, well, I think I'll just get it cut out and then we'll kind of work on where the bends need to be. But I don't know how good this is gonna work. But I think once we get it cut out, we can use this fender to try to match the bends and where it folds. You know, the bad thing is it's got a pretty good round off there that I don't know that I could, well, I might, I don't know. I'm afraid that I just need to do this flat area with this roll down here and try to keep as much of this as possible and as much of this on the original fender as possible. But oh, I don't know how this is gonna work, but let me try to get this cut out and see what happens. All right, you can definitely see, you know, we're gonna have to work on where it dips down, and then this is gonna have to be rolled down. So I think I screwed up when I marked it. I think I just went straight across right there instead of this little, but it is what it is. Let me play with it a little bit and see what we come up with here. All right, I don't need like a hard bend in this, but it kind of needs to round it a little bit. I'm gonna attempt to do that with this, but I don't know how good it's gonna work. I'm hoping maybe just do a little bit at a time. Maybe. Kind of like that. It don't look like that's going to be near enough, but we'll kind of go see where we're at least. It's hard to do this and hold the camera. So it looks like we need a little more bend at the bottom down here. So I'm trying to show my work. Everybody gripes because I don't ever show my work. So too far. This may be one of those little projects that winds up getting thrown in the trash. May went a little too far, yeah. Too far. Oop, about knocked the camera over. Alright, I'm not carrying y'all back over every time. I'm gonna have to walk back and forth probably 100 times. Try to get a little bit of the bend in the top part of it too, just to where it'll lay on that other fender right. working out. I started kind of dishing it in right here, but I didn't go down low enough, so I've just been kind of eyeballing it. So I don't know. We're getting close to kind of the basic shape, but I started my bends wrong down here, so it's not coming down far enough there. So I may have just screwed this whole thing up. Maybe I can bend it a little more right there. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. I think so. Let me go mark that better, because I don't want to. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, and that's screwing me up. So. I draw a straight line about like I cut a straight line. Not very well. Getting close on this side, but we're not close on this side. So I forget that this side rolls down too, so that may be part of it, but I'm gonna keep jacking with it and see if I can kind of get this thing back in shape like it needs to be, and hopefully I didn't just screw up this piece of metal. All right, I've been struggling with this for quite a while now, and I've got it pretty close. Of course, I've beat the hell out of it with a hammer on a bag over there trying to get my dish in like I wanted it. So now it has the texture of a golf ball. So we'll have to work on that. But of course, it only looks right because I have it clamped in place. If I unclamp it, it springs out. But I think if I can get the basic shape, of course, this side over here, like I said, rolls in, so it's high right here. but I don't think I'm gonna go that far. I don't know yet. I'm just playing with it right now, but I mean, it's bad, and I've made it worse. Like I said, with my hammer, I don't have like a body set like a hammer and dolly. I just have hammers and a sandbag, and so it left a lot of dimples in it, but you know, we can work it out. Of course, it'll have to be trimmed quite a bit when I get ready to do this anyway, which I'm not installing this today anyhow. I'm gonna wait until I get I want to set the motor in it, put the core support in it, the nose piece on it, and then I want to put the balance, the little part that goes from here over to the other fender, and go ahead and bolt it in place so I know where everything has to be, and then I can put that piece on there and clamp it on there and mark it, and that way I know everything's kind of where it needs to be, because if I'm afraid if I weld it on now, I'm gonna have it off real bad. So it'll be easier once everything's in place, I think. But obviously I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but we're definitely gonna have to work on this some more. Yeah, which you can see I sanded some of the stuff off, so you can really see the dimples in it where I beat the hell out of it. So, but I mean, it can be smoothed out a little more, and then we can put like we did everything else, and put a little skim coat of filler on it and kind of straighten it up some. Yeah, I am not good at this stuff, but I'm gonna keep working on it a little bit. Like I said, you can watch when I unclamp it, you can see how it springs up. But if we get the basic shape and we get it on, you know, clamp to that and do like we did this one, we can cut a little bit and tack it, cut a little bit and tack it, cut a little bit and tack it, or whatever. I don't know. I ain't really sure what I'm gonna do yet. I really don't want to cut this area here off and then have to try to make that. So I think it'll be better. And then I can stay, because like that rolled in part starts about, get y'all down here where y'all can see, about right there. So if I can stay in the flat part of that, before I can keep the original rolled edge there. So, because I did cut this piece a little big for that very reason, but I'm gonna work on trying to smooth it out a little bit, and hopefully it won't be quite that bad. But yeah, we'll probably trim that much off of the front edge and go up. But I don't know, I'm gonna have to, I didn't trim this right, but I've marked it on the back side where I can trim it to fit the bottom part. But I think it'll be all right, maybe. But yeah, you can see there where I marked the little notch I need to cut out of it, and I beat the hell out of that thing. Hope I didn't. Yeah, because I did most of it on the bag, and then when I set it over here and clamped it in, I kind of tapped on a little bit too. So I hope I didn't, you know, mess this nice fender up. Tell you what, every time I think I'm getting a little better at this metal working, I try something like this and realize how bad I suck at it. All right, so there it is, clamped on this fender. Now you have to keep in mind, we're only going to go up to about right here. I'm going to drop down below where that park light is, so it'll probably be where this point is. We'll probably come across, straight across there, and then we'll trim some of that off. But it's, you know, the basic shape is there, like you can see. Of course, I don't have it clamped good down here, so it's low down here. It needs to come up just a little bit. I just kind of half-assed it, clamping it on there. But like all these lines, like all this contour matches, other than, like I said, I made it look like a golf ball, but I do think that can be remedied. I really wish I had one. What are those things called, like the little air hammer thing, planishing hammers maybe, and like an English wheel. I wish I had all that stuff and the knowledge to use them to where I could make stuff like this and make it better. That is something I wish I knew how to do. I don't have the foggiest idea how to do it. I think that is something that, you know, people spend a lifetime perfecting that craft, but out of all the things I know how to do, I wish that was a skill I possessed, but I don't. But anyway, I think that's kind of good enough for that piece right now until, like I said, we can get further along on the assembly of the front end. I don't want to put the front end stuff in there till I get the motor set in there, but I have my cherry picker loaned out to my son. Apparently buying old junky vehicles that don't run, that you don't need and can't afford, is hereditary, and I have unfortunately passed that down to my son. He has bought a couple of old trucks. One is a 73 D100, like a Dodge 100, little short bed regular cab. And then I don't remember what year model the other one is. The 73 is just a roller, and then the other one, the body was junk on it but had a motor in it, so he's trying to get motors swapped over on those. So I need to get that. I need to get with him and see where he's at on that, so I can get my cherry picker back, so we can set the motor in, core support, nose piece, and balance, and then we can fix that. But until that happens, I guess I need to finish kind of grinding all my welds down in here and scuffing all this up and get all this coated on the inside. I want to scuff up all the roof where it's been on fire. It's pretty scaly in there. Get all the big chunks off and get it coated in that black rust encapsulator. And then I'm going to put the kill mat down. I've got to get in here and sand down all my filler. I've got everything to paint the trunk, the splatter paint and all that. Other than a base coat, I don't know. I want it kind of dark, so I may try to do a black base coat. But I do have everything back here seam sealed, so that may be what we work on in the rest of this video. So the bad part about jumping around, like working on a little bit here and then going doing something else and then coming back, is I thought I had all this done where all I had to do is just grind the welds down, but I have several places that need finish welding that I'd forgot about. So I got a lot more work in front of me than I thought I did, but whatever. I did start grinding this side down. That side over there is the side that likes quite a bit of finish welding. I got a few spots up here in the front I got to do. I'm not trying to grind it just perfectly smooth. I'm just trying to knock the big chunks, like some of the booger welding, down, because it's all going to get coated and covered up anyway. So I'm not spending just a whole bunch of time on it. I'm just trying, like I said, just knock the high spots down. And there's a few places up in the corner I'm gonna have to get like my die grinder with a little wheel on it to get in some of those tight spots, and then hopefully pretty soon we'll get this all ground down. And then I think, like I said, the roof up there is pretty crusty, and most of this needs just like the scale knocked off of it. I think that rust encapsulator, it don't gotta be like perfect. You just gotta like knock the loose stuff off and then coat it. But I'm gonna try to coat everything all up in there. I am gonna have to seam seal a few spots. But the plan is to get all this coated, and then I'm not putting a headliner in it, so I'm just gonna like these little panels here, I'll put the sound deadener on or whatever, and then all the way up to where the floor rolls back into the trunk area. Hopefully that'll be sufficient. I got one more seat belt I gotta get out. The bolt's rusted. I'm gonna have to, I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. I guess weld a nut on it or something. And I got one little spot right there that I still have to patch, so I gotta get that done before we can do that. So yeah, a lot more work than I had thought, so I'm just gonna keep plugging along. I kind of got everything ground down. I did the kind of scuff the roof panels up a little bit. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. I got everything done in here that I want to get done before I coat it, except for that one little corner over there. I got a little spot, but I ain't in the mood to cut and weld anything today, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get the roof painted, and maybe from here forward and all up under there with, you know, the coating, and then I'll worry about that another time, because I just ain't in the mood to try to fit panels and cut and weld and all that today. I've been doing a ton of that here lately. This is the stuff that I got to put on the floor. I hope it's enough. We'll see. I'm gonna have to read the directions on it and see what, you know, if there's anything special I gotta do. I got just a couple of, I got a roller, a smaller roller, and a little brush, so hopefully we can kind of get into everywhere. And oh man, but yeah, I've been out here grinding and for hours. This was a nasty job, and I'm feeling it. So I'm hoping to get this on here pretty quick and be done with this little part of it. Well, that's as far as one can of that stuff will get me. I got most of the floor up under the dash and the firewall. I still got both sides, you know, in the footwells there. I got the roof a light coat. It's gonna need another coat and some touch up. The little brushes I had really sucked, but the roller worked pretty good. My dumb ass didn't get it mixed up good enough the first little bit I did, so everything was still kind of settled at the bottom, so I had to stir it up to get it to thicken up a little bit. But most of the roof will have to be, it'll have to have another coat, because that was before I mixed it up better, and I'll have to get into some places, but I think it's going to be fine. But I'm thinking it's going to take at least 2 more cans to get everything, because I want to get everything inside all of those little nooks and crannies on both sides. Same thing back here, and I'm going to go all the way up and do the package tray area and all the, like the B-pillar area, everything. Anything inside here is going to be coated with this stuff. So, but the good thing about it, I did get enough done where I can put the pedal assembly back in it, and we can mount the master cylinder and all that stuff. So start figuring out the rest of my brake lines and all that. But I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. This took way too long to do. All the worst part was grinding all that crap out and get it all scuffed up enough to put this coating on there. But I mean, it looks decent. Of course, everything's kind of wet right now. I don't know how this stuff dries, if it's kind of a matte color or what, or, you know, if it's like hard, or if it's going to be kind of rubberized. It did say in the instructions that you're supposed to use some type of like rust activator and some type of cleaner that I didn't do, so this stuff may not even stick, but I said to heck with it. We're just going to try it and see what happens. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end this video. I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.